All right, let's talk about how to talk to a seller. You got someone on the phone, you got their information, you give them a call. What do? What I'm going to tell you is going to be different than what other people are going to tell you. You have to find what works for you. I'm going to tell you what works for me and what works for the successful people that I help train. What works for me, first and foremost, is building rapport and focusing on a couple of things that I've picked up over the years. I'll give you a good one. The first one is that people don't like to repeat themselves, especially if they're on the phone for a long time. That's something one of my first mentors taught me. He said, Sean, if you spend an hour on the phone asking people questions, having a conversation with them, they are less likely to go spend another hour on the phone with another person trying to get their house under contract. So, because of that, I have my first appointments, is what I'll call them, my introductory appointment. I have those last about 45 minutes to an hour. 15 to 20 minutes, I'm talking about the house, and that's sprinkled in cumulatively 15 to 20 minutes throughout the conversation. I'm speaking about the house. The rest of the time, I'm building rapport. How do you build rapport, Sean? I am genuinely curious about everything. I really am. And you have to get curious. You have to be genuinely empathetic if you're going to use this method. This method is ultimately leading up to a collaborative type of close. What's a collaborative type of close? A collaborative type of close is where I bring portions of a solution to a seller, and then I ask the seller to come in with the other parts that I'm missing, and we work on it together. Why is that so effective? It's effective because when you, as a person, feel like you have your hand in a thing, the thing is more important. It's more real because people are mostly self centered. People love talking about themselves. People like being asked questions about themselves. People love to engage about themselves. So, the best way to do that in the terms of a deal is get them involved in the deal. So, what does that look like? Well, for me, it's pretty simple. Once I build my rapport with the seller, then that allows me the opportunity to be honest with them, to say things that other wholesalers or salespeople in general, especially over the phone, don't want to say out of fear because they don't want to lose the deal. Me personally, I don't care. Not that I don't care about the deal, I just don't care if I lose it. I live in a mindset of abundance. If I don't get this deal, I'll get the next one. And if I don't get the next one, I'll get the one after that, and so on and so forth. So, because of that, I tell people the truth and I frame it in a way after I've built enough rapport to where not only are they not angry when I tell them things that they don't want to hear, but they respect me for it. I'm setting myself apart from the other 150,000 people that have called them up until this point to try and get their house under contract. And that's the goal. You have to distinguish yourself from literally everyone else. How do you do that? Well, the most effective way is don't say what everyone else says. Don't act the way that everyone else is acting. When someone tells me how much they want for their house and I ask why, and they give me a superficial answer, that's not enough. So I question them on that. Now, again, there's a way to do this to where you come off as professional, direct, but professional, direct, but polite. So there's an art to it. There's certain situations where you're probably going to want to be a little bit more aggressive, but we'll get into those in another video. This is just basic 80% of the people that you talk to over the phone. So if they say something to me along the lines of, and I've done my due diligence, I'll pull their property up on Zillow or PropWire or PropStream or Batch Leads or Redfin, whatever you're using, it doesn't matter. 99.9% of the time, though, most people, when they come up with their asking price. If they don't have a whole lot of knowledge in real estate, this is their only home or it's a second home, they're not investors, they go off of the Zillow estimate, the Zestimate. That's what they go off of. So that's what I go off of. That's what I look at. So if they give me a number that is damn near the Zillow estimate, then I ask them, okay, great, perfect. Where'd you come up with that? And then I be quiet. There are a lot of new techniques in getting deals closed, especially in real estate wholesaling. Everyone knows exactly what to say. Say this, say that. Don't say this, don't say that. Some of the old ones are still way more true and way more valuable and effective than some of the newer ones. Like, listen to twice as much as you talk, because you're playing off of a couple of things for people. Like I said before, people like to hear themselves talk. People like to answer questions about themselves. People like to brag about themselves or their own experiences, their possessions, their feelings, whatever the situation is. You need to let them do that. And you need to be good at asking questions. And then you also need to learn when to not talk at all. And after asking a big question, I don't care if it's a 30-second silence, I won't say a word, nothing. Even if they say, "Are you still there?" Yeah, no, I was just waiting for you to answer my question. And then I'm back to being quiet. I want to know where you came up with that number and why you think your house is worth that much. And what I'm doing is I'm trying to convey to them, one, I'm not one to be messed with. I'm not like everyone else you talk to. And two, I want you to explain to me why you think your house is worth that much. I want an answer. I'm different than the other people that have talked to you, and I know what I'm talking about. So you tell me why your house is worth that much. And I'm trying to get them to say, "Oh, it's what Zillow says." And then my response would be, "Oh, wait, oh, you went off of the what does they call it? The Zestimate? Oh, okay, all right, no, okay, I get it." So, and then I go right into their property, right into talking about it. So, have you renovated your property in the last 5 years, 2 years? Would you say, oh, great. Okay, so then would you say your property is up to 2024, 2025 rehab standards? Because that makes things a lot easier on me. The less rehab I have to do, the better. This makes things quite a bit smoother. Now, I know that they haven't renovated their property, or I should know, but I'm going to say it in a way that's such where they have to, oh, well, no, I haven't renovated my property at all. Oh, okay, but you said you wanted the higher end, the Z estimate, right? Or the Z estimate, or whatever they call it. I know what it's called, but whatever they call it. Oh, all right. Well, no big deal. Let me ask you this then, Mr. Seller. If you had to put your home into one of two categories, or even if it's kind of in the middle, whatever, would you say that your house is broken or dated, or a mixture of the two? That's the easiest way to ask someone what the condition of their house is without attacking them and without doing interrogation tactics. How's the roof? How's the foundation? How's the windows? How's the kitchen? How's the bathroom? How's the plumbing? How's the electrical? No one wants to answer questions like that. That's not interrogation, it's just a conversation. So that's the best way to start a conversation when it comes to property and the condition of it. Would you say that your house is more broken or dated? Or is it a mixture of the two? And I literally say it just like that tone, that inflection, everything. Because I'm asking my question, but I'm not asking it in a way that's threatening. And I'm also not asking it in a way that all the other 150,000 people that have called them has asked. I'm standing out. And then I let them answer. And if their answer is not satisfactory, oh, it's more dated. Oh, yeah, how so? And then be quiet. Oh, no, it's kind of broken. Really? Okay. How? Let them answer. Use your pauses as a weapon. If they give you a soup, oh, it's just lived in. That's where the silence comes in. I realize you guys can't see me, or I would have let that silence go a lot longer. Because when you're on the phone and they give you an answer like that, and they know they're being a superficial answer, and then you're just quiet, it will compel them 90% of the time to elaborate on that answer. And then they'll give you more information. If they don't follow the hint, you ask them, so wait a minute, tell me more about that. What do you mean? Get curious. Try and figure out what's going on with the property. And you can tell them that because you're building that rapport as a professional, as someone that doesn't sound like everyone else. You guys do not work customer service. You don't have to be Chipper Brady Bunch all the time. This is a business. You want to build rapport. You want to come off as effective, professional, empathetic, and someone that has the knowledge and know how to get what they want. So, what's one of the other things I do? One of the other things I do when I'm dealing with negotiations, again, going back to that collaborative sales tactic, when they tell me an aspect of the deal that they don't like, I ask them how they would like it. Hey, I'm going to give you $30,000 cash in your pocket at closing. I'll give you $500 a month in positive cash flow, and I can get this thing paid off for you in about 15 years. We'll do it. We'll put a 15-year balloon on it. Normally, it should be 20. It's over $150,000 purchase price, but I can do 15. Does that work? Can you make that work, Mr. and Mrs. Seller? Then you be quiet. I really don't like the down payment. Really? What part about it don't you like? Well, I was expecting more money. Oh, really? How much more? Genuine curiosity. I don't really like the balloon term. Really? What don't you like about it? Well, I mean, I don't want to wait that long for my money. You know what, Mr. and Mrs. Seller? I don't like making people wait that long for their money. We do have our policy, and the reason why is because, and that's a very powerful statement. The reason why is because studies have shown that if you say the word because and then give a reason that is just something that makes sense, 87% of the people on the other phone will just go along with it as long as they get the gist of why you're saying it. Now, if it doesn't fit their scenario, let's say someone needs to move and they need $50,000 for a down payment on a house they've already picked, and $30,000 isn't going to work. You can say because until you're blue in the face. It doesn't change the fact they need the $50,000. You need to find another way. But just in the negotiation parts, things that have wiggle room, you say because, and then you give a reason that's valid, that makes sense. Chances are they will at least hear you out, which is a step in the right direction. So make sure you're using because, and then a valid statement at the end. It just has to make sense. Something that ease. Don't do what one person was doing when I first started training them. They would say because, and they would give the most technically jargoned answer, so confusing, so just inflated with importance, even though there was no substance. And they would just scare the people off. It has to be something that they understand, easy to digest, and logically it makes sense. Hey, Mr. Seller, I completely understand that. The reason why I can't give you that is because your property needs about $85,000 worth of repair. So if I give you $50,000 plus the purchase price plus the rehab, that doesn't pencil for me. Does that make sense? Tell them the truth. It doesn't work. It's not going to pencil out. One of the people on my team uses a line that I absolutely loved the moment I heard it. She said, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I know you said you're getting a lot of lowball offers, but just because I respect you enough to tell you the truth, there's a reason why everyone that calls you gives you just about the same quote unquote lowball offer. And that's because all of our formulas for calculating these investor deals, they're all the same. A couple of variations here and there, but they're all the same. However, have you ever heard about getting a deal under seller financing or under creative terms? I can probably get you quite a bit more money, both in the short and long term. And then you be quiet. Whoa, whoa, what is that? What is that? Well, I'll tell you what. Let me ask you a couple of questions. Let me get some details from you. You don't have to be specific. Just give me the ballpark. Give me an hour. I'll call you right back. Let me run some numbers. Done. Here's another thing, and I'll end with this because this video is a little bit longer. When new people start wholesaling, and this is going to be controversial, it is what it is. You're not going to close every lead. You're not going to. I'm really, really good at this as far as I've been told, as far as the numbers of the deals that I put up. And out of 10, I'm probably only going to close like 5 or 6. Just being realistic. If you're new, you're going to close 1 or 2, 0 to 1. Not every lead is a deal, no matter how good you are, no matter how good you are at negotiating. You cannot change certain aspects of a deal. You cannot change what the ARV is. You cannot change what the cash on cash return is. You cannot change how messed up that house is and what the rehab amount actually is. You cannot change how much that house will rent for in the city that it's in. All of these play a factor. You can't change it. So you're not going to close every deal. So you have to go into every single deal like, yes, I really, really want to close this, but I'm detaching myself enough to where if the numbers don't work, they just don't work. It's not a deal. You're not going to make every deal work. And the hard part is learning when to turn it off for one deal so that you can have the bandwidth to move on to the ones that may be profitable. You never drop a deal. You always put it on the follow-up once every week, once every 2 weeks, once every month, once every 3 months, depending on the circumstances. So you don't ever drop it, but you don't spend day after day after day after day trying to get a deal to work. That's just not going to. So if you have a deal and myself or someone who you see as, hey, they're good at this, let me listen to their opinion. If they say it's not a deal, or if they say your max number is this, your MAO is only this, or you can only offer that, don't go above it. Just don't. Because like I used to tell the people on my team, anyone can get a deal under contract. My dogs can get a deal under contract. Is it a deal under contract that can be moved to an investor? Is it a deal that is attractive enough for an investor to want to buy it and give you a $10,000 assignment fee for it? That's where it comes down to making a deal work versus, hey, there's too much energy getting spent on this that's not going anywhere. I'm stepping over dollars to pick up dimes. Let me go focus on this big bunch of leads that I haven't even touched yet because I've got commission breath for this one. So don't do that. If you have any specific questions, drop them below and I'll answer them. Have a great